Jane, as you know, the Cowboys are probably the most polarizing franchise in all of sports. You're either a diehard or you hate them with a passion, it seems. Nobody seems to be indifferent to the Dallas Cowboys. But I have to be honest with you, Jane, getting to know TJ Jefferson over these last few weeks, filling in for Rich on the Rich Eisen Show, there's part of my heart that is rooting for the Dallas Cowboys. The Super Bowl's about a 9-iron from the Rich Eisen Show studios. Can you imagine TJ Jefferson in Los Angeles Super Bowl week with the Cowboys in the big game? Is there a feeling of just like specialness around this group? Is this a special group, you think? Do you think TJ has real plans for Super Bowl celebration here in Los Angeles?
I think there's real talent on this roster, but to be fair, there's been talent on this roster in years past. The problem with the Cowboys is putting it all together. And whether that be coaching, whether that be injuries, they haven't been able to put it all together. And I've been shocked to see even Jerry Jones take a more tempered approach to the season. Mike McCarthy saying, last night, let me paraphrase because of all the F-bombs, that essentially they're not there for a winning season. They're not there for the playoffs. They're there for the Super Bowl. That's the most deliberate I've heard them talk about this season. I think it's implied. That's why Jerry made the change with Mike McCarthy, a guy who has skins on the wall. That's why they went all in on defense. They said goodbye to a lot of guys that were free agents, spent 8 of their 11 draft picks on defense. And then just how emotional Jerry's been as of late. He's an emotional guy. He pulls you in when he talks about his passion for football and specifically for this team. But it does feel different this year. And I've said that in the past, but you saw when he's getting really emotional talking about he could be anywhere in the world, but he chooses to be at training camp. Think about anything that you've loved and anything that you've put your heart and soul into, and then just to have it come up flat every year, I would imagine that's frustrating. And I know a lot of people say, well, if you're willing to do anything to get to a Super Bowl, why don't you just name a GM? It seems like that's very uniquely Dallas these days. Mark Cuban's doing that now with the Dallas Mavericks. So I understand the need to cut out the middleman, and a lot of people don't realize Will McClay and his staff do a lot of the work, but obviously Jerry signs off on all of it. And I'm always very impressed with how well Jerry knows this team. This is a guy that can literally go down the list and tell you everything you need to know about players. I've interviewed several coaches who just know guys by numbers, but he knows the intricacies of all players. So for the knock on that, I understand, but just covering this team, I truly believe this team wants to win, but I think given how ugly last season got and all the optimism when CeeDee Lamb fell to you and it felt like you were getting all these free agents coming to Dallas because Mike McCarthy and it was disasters, I think everyone's just being tempered, and maybe that's a good thing for Dallas finally.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.